Well, hello. We're back. Rodeo Time podcast. Dale Brisby in the house with our man here. First we've got Katrin, the in-house personal trainer. Donnie Ray Daytona, the cameraman, bronc rider extraordinaire. And then the long-haired hillbilly Viking from up north, Mr. Cory Anderson. What's your middle name?
Lee.
Cory Lee Anderson. And
for no particular reason.
He is with Total Feeds, the feed company, and so we're allowing him to be here because Total Feeds is bringing you this podcast, and we're aligning those two brands, Rodeo Time and Total Feeds.
The official feed of rodeo.
Let's see.
Time.
Yeah.
I feel like if we could come together
let's bring
somehow.
it together.
Synergy.
One thing we're going to talk about in this podcast, which side of the aisle are you on? Are you the kind of person that's going to go hitchhiking in Alaska, or are you going to go get a massage on Friday? And can those two people be the same person?
No.
Well, that's what Cory Lee Anderson has to say about it, but what do you have to say about it? So thank you, Total Feeds, for bringing us this podcast, and thank you, listeners, for enjoying it. Text me, 940-353-0890. Now to the podcast.
Rodeo time. Got to get her on down the road.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Rodeo Time, the podcast. I don't really like how much higher Cory is sitting than me. Why are you sitting on a phone book?
It's really more about my status than my relative height.
You are seriously like a foot taller right now.
He's sitting in the same chair.
We're all sitting in regular folding chairs.
For those
Cory's
of you
sitting in a hunting chair.
Those of you that haven't been here, worst chair in the building is what they give to the guest at the podcast.
You don't like that chair?
We have a million chairs.
Will you get him that wooden one right there, Donnie?
Yeah.
Here. How's it?
No, will you get it to him right now?
Do you really want me to get it to him?
Yeah.
It's my thing.
Donnie don't want to.
I'll do it. I just didn't know if you were like being actually serious.
No, I'll get it.
It's not that I didn't want to. I thought you just make it a joke.
Oh, I thought you were saying like...
What if, I bet it gets worse.
Well, no, this one actually squeaks also.
Donnie, I feel like my mic's not on.
You can't...
I feel like my mic's not on.
It was on. I was hearing it.
Yeah, you might not can hear it. It might be your headphones.
Yeah, your headphones might not be. Can you hear everybody else talking?
Oh!
Yeah, but not myself.
I shrunk.
Yep, now it's my headphones. There we go.
Check. No.
Is that better?
It's just like I can't hear myself.
I can't hear her in my headphones.
Yeah, I can't either.
It's weird. I can always hear
Well, I'm
y'all.
moving them around. I can hear in mine.
She's number 2.
Check.
It's not the headphones.
Okay.
It's not the talking to it.
Check.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Yeah, no.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Where'd that phrase come from? We all know what that means.
Yeah,
Rodeo.
No. Oh, there we go.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Check.
Oh yeah.
Testing.
Checkity check.
Checkity check. Is that what you were saying yesterday?
I don't even know.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Rodeo Time, the podcast. We've got it squared away. We had Cory was just sitting too high. He was up above Dale Brisby, and that's just not acceptable.
It was awkward. I'll admit it was awkward.
It was awkward. You were at an awkward height.
Yes, I felt out of place. And there's that old phrase, it's the tallest nail that gets hit first by the hammer.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
Yeah. Have there been other times that you felt awkward like that?
Pretty much the last 51 years.
Okay. I was thinking earlier.
I'm just narrowing it down to that.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking we need to get you a shirt that says I've been kicked out of much nicer places than this. I was thinking about that.
Yep.
Our story about what happened before we started the podcast.
So when I was a kid growing up, every year I'm going to date myself terribly, but every year on New Year's Eve, the Marx Brothers movie, The Duck Soup, would play, and my parents would stick me in front of the TV while they were doing adult things.
Getting hammered? Well, you just said the nail that sticks out gets hammered. I thought that's what you meant.
And Groucho Marx, in that movie, he said, I'll never want to belong to a club that has me as a member.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you were learning things while your parents were, what'd you call it?
That's-
Doing adult things?
That's
Okay.
the adult beverages.
Oh, I thought maybe you meant
Partaking.
like making your
Making
little
babies.
brother.
No, on New Year's Eve, yes. We had a new baby every September
Yeah.
for some reason. There are 15 of us.
Well, I could see, like, not only are you tall, but you've also got the long hair.
Yeah.
And that, it's like, you make yourself a target.
Yep.
Do you find that
I'm
you're a
hard to
target?
miss.
Like, do you ever go to the bar?
Nope.
Yeah. me
We
neither.
covered this in another podcast.
I don't remember. I've
Yeah,
done, this is number 65,
I
so.
don't go to bars.
Did you used to?
Yeah. And in college, I have a picture. I'm going to find, I got it. I have a picture of my senior year in college.
In
my
your flip
hair.
phone?
Yeah, in my flip phone.
What is that, an Android? That's a
It
BlackBerry.
is the most advanced.
I know that it's not an iPhone.
It's not.
No.
It's a Google Pixel.
Because every time I try to send him a picture of something, it says not delivered. And it's a
So
green
that's-
message.
That's me at like 22.
What?
Wow, look at the flexibility of that man.
That's a good squat.
Your hair has been that long for that
No,
much time.
no, I'll find a picture.
Yeah, really.
Most like most of my adult life, I've cut it pretty short. I used to go to the barber shop and I say, "Give me another number 8 all the way around. That's 1 inch, all the way around." But it was that long back in college, and so when I did go to the bars, I would inevitably get the question, "Are you in a band or something?"
Yeah.
Wait, what year was it that you were going to bars in college?
So this would have been 1988 through 1993,
Nice.
college.
Were you born
Not
yet?
bad. No.
Not bad, Donnie says.
Neither were you.
Yeah, 91
He said 88.
through 93, right? You said
Yes.
88 through 93.
I was born in 95.
Yeah.
So no.
So I would just play it up, and I would always say like I was the bassist for some band because nobody knows who the bass player is.
Right.
Bingo. I don't like to go to bars because I'm a target. And I don't mean yes, everyone does know who Dale Brisby is, obviously, because I'm the greatest of all time. But even if they happen to be the 1 out of 3 that didn't know who I am, like, this is a target, at a bar. Like, I want to go mess with that guy. I want to instigate something.
Everybody's picking on me.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just
just not going to the bar. I see it in Vegas, man.
Yeah.
People if it's 11 o'clock, they are intoxicated.
Yeah.
They've got a much different personality than they normally would if they saw you at 3 o'clock at the rodeo, and they are ready to start some stuff.
I can tell you, I started out at Kansas State because we lived in Kansas in most of my teen years, and Kansas State is chock full of kids like me from little towns all over Kansas. And we were used to drinking and fighting as recreation, growing up in a small town. Didn't have much to do. And so I think almost every weekend that we went out, we would get in a fight. Just the bar, just a bunch of redneck kids from Kansas. What else is going to happen? We're all drinking and carousing. And so
I know what carousing means, but Caitlin, I don't think, knows what it means. What's the definition
From
of
East
that
Texas,
word?
you have to help me.
And say it really slow.
Yeah.
carousing.
Is it a K or a C?
I would define carousing as trying to get your game on.
Get your
With-
game on.
Yes. Is that
Go
a more
play.
Hey, now you're a rock star.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Is it get paid
Interesting.
or get laid?
It depends on what version.
Hmm.
It depends on who's singing it.
Gotcha. Anyway, sorry.
But I don't like to fight. I've never liked to fight.
Well, I'm not talking about fight. I'm just talking about confrontation. Like, apparently there's just random people that don't like you.
Yep.
Which
That's
makes
a given.
no sense to me.
Right.
You're a likable dude.
We're all the villain in someone's story.
That's
Heard that.
True.
No, I say that just because it's just one person. It's not a bunch of people.
Some of us more people than others. But
You know, it's what is funny is I never liked I hated fighting, but like if it was me, somebody was trying to pick on me or talk crap to me, it didn't really bother me. I mean, I was always big for my age anyway, so it didn't really matter to me. I didn't really have anything to prove. However, I didn't like bullies, and so I would get in fights, like covering somebody else's butt.
Right.
And somebody was getting picked on because I never liked that.
Yeah.
Especially being a bigger guy, you know, it's like I could do that.
Yeah.
So
I avoid them. I have no well, except Cowboy Cerrone. I want to beat him up. There's me and Cowboy. It's gonna happen one day. I'm gonna fight him.
yeah,
I'm gonna destroy him.
I feel a rock solid pay-per-view moment coming on for that. I
I'm
think
thinking
we could
free
sell
show.
tickets.
I'm thinking
Oh,
free
yeah.
show on YouTube. I want everybody to see me destroy him. Destroy just seems to be the word
yeah,
that comes to mind.
yeah.
Destroy. I want to destroy him.
Are you
That's-
are you training?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like I have to.
Yeah, naturally.
You know.
But are you going to?
I mean, I don't know. I might do a few push-ups,
Okay.
but
That's fair.
The other thing to think about is I remember this.
mano y mano, cowboy versus cowboy.
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 I
We're
remember
gonna see.
this-
We're gonna see who the cowboy is.
I remember this girl who
Are you
was.
trying to change the subject? Because I
I'm-
want to camp on this.
I'm
I want
not.
to make sure.
I'm just
that everybody
prepa-
knows I'm
I'm-
coming for you, cowboy.
I'm preparing you for something. I remember this girl who was like, she was studying martial arts when I was young. And I knew her. Yeah. Katrin tried to pull some karate on me out in the warehouse a little earlier, so it made me think of this. And it was one of those things where I don't know what kind of deal it was, but they move you up pretty quickly, you know, belt after belt, kind of keep the money rolling in so you get excited. But, I mean, I knew this girl. I went to high school with her. I'm like, listen, if you're going to get a fight, you got to think about something. How many punches do you think you could take from a guy like me before you soften up? Because you're going to get hit. I don't care how good a fighter you are. You're going to have to take a few punches. That's one thing that people don't think about when they prepare for a fight, is taking a few punches while you're trying to take the guy down. So how many can...
Oh, yeah. How many do you think you can take? How many do you think you can
I
handle?
really feel like we should figure that out.
You know, I feel
I'll
like
do it.
I don't feel like
I figured there was a volunteer here somewhere.
I don't
If I
feel
just
like
threw
it's
it
gonna
out
be
there.
a big deal.
We'll all just get in line and we'll just take turns.
We'll put a whiteboard up and you just mark. You know,
I'm just
each
gonna.
punch.
It's gonna be 1-2. Boom, boom. Game over.
You're only gonna be able to take 2 punches.
That's all I'm gonna need to deliver.
Oh.
Yeah. Look out, cowboy. I'm coming for you.
Are y'all going to have, sock 'em boppers on? Or is this...
I'm thinking bare knuckle.
Oh, okay. You remember sock 'em boppers?
Yeah.
I'm thinking bare knuckle.
Get those Halloween Hulk fists.
Destroy.
Yes.
Destroy. That's just the word that comes to mind. Destroy. He's a Can-Am endorsee now, so I'm going to see if I can go through Can-Am to get that hooked up.
Nice.
In this corner, brought to you by Can-Am, we've got a cowboy. This other corner, another cowboy. We're going to find out which of these is and which of these ain't no cowboy.
It's like
Brought to you by Can-Am.
It's like you've
So,
been thinking about this for a while.
shirtless, boxing
No, I just came
shorts,
up with
cowboy
that.
boots, in the dirt. How are you going to fight?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm thinking we can go in his home, the
Oh.
octagon.
The round pen.
Yeah.
Huh? Throw him
I
in
like
the round
that.
pen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to film.
Lock the door.
I need to give him a way to escape. I'm going to destroy him.
Y'all fight. Let a bull out.
Yeah, it'd be like real gladiator stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
we'll let a bull out
Yeah.
on a chain.
Okay. Yeah.
And it'll be awesome.
Stake it in the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can use catfish as steak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll like build a drop door so
This
like
is
it
like-
comes out of the ground.
Like the Roman Coliseum,
Yeah,
but we're
yeah.
going
Yeah,
to
this is-
improvise.
just
Yeah.
like
It's
Gladiator
at
with Russell
Winnebago
Crowe.
style.
Oh my
Yep.
God, Dale's Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
No, I think he's more like
We can have fish.
communist.
Yeah.
We'll have fish pop up out of the panel in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is getting really expensive.
It's getting really expensive. Tell us about, speaking of fish, tell us about fishing in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few fights in Alaska.
You just left? You just packed up your bags and left after high school?
Yeah. Thanks. That's the end of the story. Tune in next time.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Spent a little time in Alaska when I was young. So
Nice.
it started with Louis L'Amour. That's where my
Okay,
story
You and
starts.
him?
One question: was this before or after your college? Like, you graduated high school and
2 trips.
okay.
First trip I was 21, still in college, and second trip when I was 26, 25.
Okay.
25.
Continue. Louis L'Amour.
Louis L'Amour. I don't know how many people read Louis L'Amour anymore, but I grew up on Louis L'Amour. He was.
Say that 12 times fast.
I grew up in Jamestown, North Dakota, and that's his hometown. So he was like a local hero. And we all read his books. I loved his books. And he like me, grew up in a small town and read. And that's what I did. I read a lot. That was my escape because I was so bored growing up. And he used that to seek a life of adventure, and he traveled all over the world just working wherever he went. And I got the idea from reading his books. Now he also, if you read his books, he'll tell you there's nothing but trouble out there if you've got that mindset that you're bored and you're looking for adventure. But that's what spurred me. And then in those days, I remember I used to get a Popular Science magazine. And in the back of Popular Science, there was this ad for like, come try the adventure of Alaskan fishermen, make your fortune in Alaska. And that was a big deal, like in the 80s. And this guy had this little booklet that he sold. And
Yeah.
I mailed away for this booklet on how to.
There for a little bit when I was
Go.
in college, it was like people selling books, going door to door, or people selling alarm systems,
Yeah.
going door to door.
Like selling dictionaries or.
Yeah, they
whatever.
would, for the summer, they would fly to like Utah and go to Salt Lake and go door to door selling alarm systems.
Yeah.
And they said, like they would try to go, it would be advertised like come up here and be here for 45 days and make $18,000.
Yeah.
And that's how they got them there. Everybody made different amounts of money depending on what kind of liar they were.
There's always, now it's probably be a YouTube star this summer.
Come to Texas for 45
Make
days.
$18.
That's a lot of people trying to do that right now. Hey, if I can do it, anybody can. You know what I'm saying?
So my best friend, he was like me. He was like, man, we got to go out.
So you were going to go anywhere, and then that was the popular thing at that time, like a flyer that you saw, like, all right, well, if we go to Alaska, number one, it's an adventure to get there and be there. But then this is that thing we can do to also make money.
What'd you sell?
What now?
No,
Or
his
is
deal
that-
was,
oh,
it
never
wasn't
mind.
selling anything. It was
Okay.
like working as a,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On a
Make
fishing
money.
boat.
Yeah. Make money on a
Gotcha.
fishing boat in Alaska. It's like all this money's waiting up there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And this little booklet came. My best friend, like, we literally talked, the train runs through Garden City, Kansas, where I grew up. And it ends, like, the train goes all the way to Los Angeles. And we literally talked about, like, just jumping on the train and hiding out until we got to L.A.
Being hobos.
Totally. Not that that's
so you
very
didn't
practical.
do that?
Like, assuming that we wouldn't be found,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Was it a passenger
5-day
train
trip.
or was it like a car? Okay.
They had both.
Yeah.
We had 2 packing plants in town, so they slaughtered like 10,000 head of cattle in my little town. So those trains running
Yeah.
Per
24
day or
hours a
year?
day. Every day. 10,000 head of cattle. Yeah. So I grew up around the cattle business.
Oh, yeah, Kansas.
hmm There were 1.5 million head of cattle within 100 miles of Garden City. My dad that's where he worked originally for Alston Purina, and he was a feedlot consultant for all those feedlots. He made feed for everybody. That's where he earned his chops. I mean, he did that every day, year in and year out. That's how he learned so much about nutrition and animals. So my buddy, he was all fired up, and like we were gonna go. I'm like, I'm gonna get this little book, and it says, you know, we can go to Seward, we can go to Anchorage, it's all these cool places, and make our fortune this summer, and it's gonna be awesome. And I was saving up my money all spring, and I bought this backpack, this biggest backpack I could carry. And he was, his family had a tent, you know, and some other gear, and it came down to like, I think we just finished up school. It was like a week before we were gonna go, and he's like, I can't do it. Like, seriously? Like, I just don't think I can do it, man. And so this is a moment that literally changed my life forever, because I'm like 20, 21 years old, and I just thought about it for like a day, and I'm like, you know what? I've got these plans. I got this backpack. I've been doing this. I'm just going to go.
I already bought the backpack. I spent $63 on this backpack. I'm going to Alaska for 7 years and gonna
think about that. Think about, like, that's what I've got. I've got
man.
My plan is I've got this little booklet. I've got a backpack.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna be a bull rider. I've already bought the rigging bag.
That was it. But that decision totally changed my life, because I realized if I didn't do this, if I backed down now, that I was never going to get out of there.
Yeah,
I was never going to do anything. That's
you
how
were
I
gonna
felt.
you were gonna always be just a little bit. Little did you know you were.
One shot.
You always were anyway.
You know, I worked.
Ooh, was that too much? Was that too? That was too much.
It wasn't enough.
I censored myself. Sorry, I couldn't hear those words.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I was like, you know what? Give me that backpack. I'm gonna take that for the summer.
Did you take his tent and things that like his
or
parents
that
had
tent
or whatever?
Yeah, so I like took their family's tent.
Give me that tent.
Yeah, give it. You promised me this.
I'm going because
You
I got this
owe
backpack.
me.
Yeah, you owe
But
me.
I need the tent. I'm taking that tent. So you did take the tent?
I took the tent
I'm sure it was the least he could do.
for the summer. Think about it. It's like a family of 5, and I took their tent for the summer.
You could like walk around in that
Well,
thing.
that's what he
I
gets.
I look back and I'm like, I probably should have paid for that tent. But I
Yeah,
never
right.
did. I borrowed it
Did you take it back to him?
at the end of summer. Yeah,
Yeah, then
it's all
fine.
good.
How big of a tent are we talking? Like, what kind of tent?
like a family of 5 tent.
No, it was a little 4-man tent.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, was it like? Did it like pop up? Like, okay. I thought maybe.
opposed
I thought
to-
maybe it was like a canvas tent. Like I'm thinking
Teepee.
like, yeah, something
No.
old.
Oh,
No,
something old.
because I literally, I could only take what I could carry, what I literally could
yeah.
carry.
I was like, dang, he carried that canvas tent. I was like, so I had to, I needed.
He needed to change his
It was
mental
on the
image.
back of my mule.
Yeah.
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 I thought you said you were only going to have one question for this story. That's like 4 now.
When did I
okay?
say that?
When you asked the first one, you're like, one question.
Okay. No more questions.
Let him tell the story.
Keep numbering your questions.
Oh, we could be here all
We'll give
day.
you one more.
Okay.
And for those of you who are listening, this is my least favorite subject, myself, because I've heard this story. It's boring.
You've lived it.
We can switch and talk about me because I love talking about me.
No.
Oh, okay.
Back to my story. So I end up, and my brother's wife had a brother who lived in Anchorage. I had a phone number, so I got up there and I called him up, and he said, "Oh, well, people hike around here all the time. You probably want to start out in Homer, Alaska. It's a lot of fishing down there. We're going to take you down." And he's in Anchorage, and they just took me out on the road like 20 minutes down the road to where the highways cross. I'm like, just stand right there and write your name, write Homer on this little piece of cardboard, and
What?
I'm sure you'd be fine. Good luck. There we go.
Oh my.
There I am.
So how'd you get up there though?
I got a plane ticket.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. I walked. I hitchhiked
Yeah.
from Kansas. No. I flew up there, and that's it. So then I'm like, I see them driving away. I'm like standing with my cardboard sign. I'm like, oh man, I'm really doing this. Like, I'm looking around, there's nothing out there but wilderness.
So in the morning, you're in Kansas with your family
Yeah.
who works in the feedlot.
And the next morning,
And then that evening, you're standing in Homer, Alaska, or standing on the side of the
on
road
side of the road,
in Alaska. with a
Somewhere.
sign
somewhere in Alaska.
somewhere in Alaska that says, take
Just
me to
along the
Homer.
highway. Yeah.
With a little,
Why
with a little
couldn't-
bandana.
Why
on a
couldn't they
stick.
take you all the way to Homer?
I never asked that. Donnie, that's a really good
It
question.
was
How
just
far
it was
away?
just a
I think
little
that's
too
a fair
far.
question.
How far
was-
away did
that was
you have to go
extended
to Homer?
family,
Yeah, okay.
and it was too extended. You know?
Okay.
I'd have to look on a map because there's a peninsula that goes down.
Because like if it's another 20 minutes, I don't understand why they couldn't take you. But if it's like another 3 hours or something, then yeah, that's
More like
understandable.
3 hours round trip.
Oh, okay.
That's funny that like that's when you find out the extent of someone's relationship. You know, it's
Yeah.
like your brother's brother-in-law.
He's
Is
like,
who
well,
it was, and it's like, okay,
We're not really related, right?
I'm
Right.
going up there,
So I'm going to go back to the bar.
and
Good
I
luck.
need to go 3 hours down the road.
Yeah.
How about 20 minutes?
Yeah. Best I
That's
can
the
do.
extent. That's the extent.
Best I can
Like,
do is 20 minutes.
Well, you see,
Here's
if-
some cardboard for you to ride on.
yeah.
It's Alaska. There's like one highway. It's like, yeah, but if we go any further, we're going to have to make a left turn. We're just not up for that. So good luck.
That's funny. Like I'm trying to think of like other scenarios where I've literally like reached the extent of a friendship with someone. You know, like what's the extent? It's just like,
Been there. a few
Yeah.
times.
I'll take you 10 miles, but not 30. You know, like a very clear cutoff. That's almost like good news. you
When
know?
they start doing the gas money calculation in their head,
right.
like,
Is he worth?
that's like
yeah.
$10.
I've got friends that would complain about doing something, but they would do it. You know.
Do you have friends that you do stuff for, and then when you ask them for the very same thing, they feel put out?
Uh huh.
He's got a list that you can see it in
Yeah.
his face.
No, I just thought of one. I just don't. It's yeah. This guy wanted me to promote this stuff. Anyway, I can't. I told him I wouldn't talk about it, but
Told him I
it was such a anyway. I'm
So you
starting
s-
to remember all the limits that some of my friends have.
We're going to give you space to expand on that. I
Mhm.
feel this is going somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyways, side of the road.
Side of the road,
Headed
cardboard.
towards Homer.
Yeah, and I'm alone.
Who
And
picked
I'm
you
looking
up?
Around, I'm looking around the mountains all around me, and and there's nothing out there.
Is it cold?
No, it's summer, so the sun's up like all the time
Right.
in summer.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there, and there's nobody out there. And then this little pickup comes down the road. It's not 3 minutes that I'm standing there, and there's these 3 young women in this pickup. I'm like,
No way.
they pull over.
Donnie's dream.
I'm so not kidding. They pull over and like, hey, you going to Homer? Yeah. So are we. We live down there. I'm like,
Were they good looking?
yes,
What
they
the-
were.
Just like Dumb and Dumber.
yeah.
We're looking for 2 oil boys to oil us up before every show. You are in luck. There's a town
10 miles from here.
in my. Oh, sorry about my friend. He's a little slow. The town is that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, these girls pick you up.
It's not 3 minutes, but before we get ahead of ourselves, they're like, yeah, get in the back.
Oh,
I mean,
Right,
they were in a
right,
single
right.
cab truck, and there was
Yeah.
no room up there.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
So I'm
I
laying
mean, that's
in the bed of the truck.
I
on the
can
way
sit
to
in your
Homer.
lap, ma'am.
And they drive me down. The Homer is this little town. There's this thing called a spit. The spit runs. It's basically a road that runs out into the ocean. And the tide. It's the biggest tide change in the world. So the tide goes out and it's like 200 feet, and then it comes back to the road, and there's nothing but road, and then there's beach, and then there's road, and they drive me down to the end of this thing, all the way out in the middle of the water, and mountains everywhere. I'm like, all right, you can probably just throw your tent somewhere out here, just like my.
Right.
No.
Yeah, like, good luck. That's the way it works up there. You're just on your own. And so I pitched my tent on the beach, and I'm like, all right, this is where I start my adventure.
This is sounding like Donnie's dream. Like
Did the tide roll in? Like, were you smart enough not to put it like
Yes, I was smart enough to put it up higher than
Okay.
that tide came in.
Okay. I don't think I would have been. I would have.
So I could back up. You know, I did grow up running around in the woods, and I was a Boy Scout, so I was familiar with camping.
Yeah, but
I was comfortable with it.
on the like, it's a little different. You know, being around the coast and stuff. That's not like something everybody might know.
Right.
How cold did it get at night? Is what I want to know.
Not. You know, I grew up in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And I'm a Viking, so that's really not a factor.
Well, it's a
But
factor.
it's a factor for Dale.
It is a factor. And really, it's not so bad. If you got a good sleeping bag or bedroll, like,
Which I did not.
it's really,
But you had a tent.
it's really only when
had
you
a
have to
tent.
get out of bed.
I had a tent and a cheap sleeping bag. I slept with all my clothes on.
So-
in the sleeping bag.
I went on
It was
the
that
wagon
cold.
last week, and it's mid-May, and I slept in a bedroll. Had about this much foam pad that I was sleeping on top of,
Didn't
and
have
then
that either.
a sheet, a comforter, and then like one of those like thin but very effective microfiber type blankets on top of the comforter, and then the canvas of my bedroll, and in the teepee. But I would I had a
think they
buddy
call that
heater.
glamping.
I had a buddy heater that I would turn on only in the mornings. So, you know, because I didn't have it on during the night, but when I would get out of bed, my alarm would go off, reach over, turn on the heater, and then hit snooze. So 9 minutes later, your teepee's just like a little warm hut.
So
And then I can get out of my bedroll and get dressed.
those of you that have a misconception that Dale's a tough cowboy, there's a lot of soft living involved with this.
Heights and cold. Those are the two areas where I'm not afraid to admit that I'm not as tough as.
You know, we were going to do this tomorrow afternoon, but there was something. What was it? Something came up.
Somebody scheduled me a massage for my birthday, and I can't not go. It's already been paid for. Excuse me for letting a young, attractive woman rub my back. Sorry for being an American.
Yeah.
Have you never had a massage?
I had a couple.
Yeah, y'all ever had massages?
He hasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Is that where we're going? That won't take very long.
Yeah. Well, I used to get massages a lot.
I feel like
I
you
go
know a lot more about it than we do.
work out. I've probably had 10 in my life. Probably 10 of them. Go work out, you'd sit in the hot tub, get a massage, then go to the chiropractor. Hot tub, massage, then the chiropractor. It's like your back sounds like a slinky going off. Like, brrr.
Wow.
Yeah.
Facts.
But I don't go to the chiropractor a lot anymore. But back then I did.
Just the massage. Masseuse?
Now I
What do you call
just go to the massage.
What's the word?
Hot, attractive blonde girl rubbing on my back is what the word is, Cory. I don't understand the crime in that.
Yeah, we're going to have some pictures and video of this.
You guys, please text me. This is my mid-roll. Please text me 940-353-0890. 940-353-0890. Text me the word podcast and then tell me if you think it's so wrong that Dale gets a massage by a young woman by the name of Candace.
I thought it was a dude.
Her name is... No.
Named Candace.
No, sir. I've never gotten a massage from
You
a
wouldn't
dude.
let a guy?
No, I would not.
No.
What about
Sorry.
a fat girl? Sorry.
Where did that come?
I've had massages from larger ladies.
Okay.
They're usually better, actually.
Because he kept saying like a young, like blonde, attractive. I was like, what about?
I mean,
like,
Katrin, really.
Well, I'm
you
just
never
trying
know
to
what's going
say
to come out, right?
I'm just trying to say that, like, just because you scheduled it, you know that on 420 and Friday afternoon, this young lady is going to rub your back, as opposed to, like, if I were just dating this woman and she was rubbing my shoulders and you come in, you wouldn't be like, ooh, you're weird, you getting your shoulders rubbed.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you just word it different, it's like, oh, well, it's not that big a deal.
I feel like to be adequately massaged for the money you probably pay for it, you should be a stouter person, woman. Like,
Yeah, but
doing it.
Strong hands.
I don't like to be kneaded on KNEAD. Like, I don't like
He likes
to.
a soft touch.
Hey, you've had a massage before. Now that come to find out, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, it hurt.
Yeah.
One time I went into this couples massage with an ex of mine, and we're sitting in the waiting room, and they come out and they call his name, and it's this cute little blonde that Dale's describing.
All right.
And she was good looking. I remember that.
And anyway, she comes out and she's like, okay, you ready? Blah, 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 whatever. And then this person comes out, and it's for me, and it's this big Helga-looking woman, and she's like, Caitlin, are you ready? And I was like,
Caitlin, you ready?
and I just looked
Speaking
at him,
Russian?
and I was like, oh yeah, hell no, we switching. I was like, you ain't getting her. I'm not getting her. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't make him switch, but it was really funny.
How was it?
It was great. I've had probably 50.
I will now
massages.
crack the back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
Here comes the people's elbow. Bam! I've never had a massage that I personally scheduled for myself. They've all been scheduled for. Well, I'm just saying, like
Like you had your assistant schedule?
no, like someone gave them to me. Someone gave them to me as a gift. Like usually it was like either someone I was dating or working with, and they were like, "You have had a stressful week, and I think you need this." And I'm like, "All right, thank you. I'll take it."
You're not wrong.
That's one of the massages my mom bought for me. And it's one of those deals, they have the, you ever walk through the mall and there's a kiosk and you just lean you over the chair.
Yep.
And there was...
I've never had one of those.
I like my mom's, like, my back was all torn up. I was helping my mom with a family issue and had to move somebody, and my mom's like, I'll buy you one of those. And I looked around, and there was one could at least look me in the eye. I'm like, well, I'll take that one.
Like they're lined up like you're a king and you're picking all your wives.
I'll take the big one.
I'll take you and I'll take you.
No, she leaned me over the chair and she started just ripping into me, and she goes, is that too much? And I leaned back. I said, you can't hurt me.
Like it's a challenge.
So I get up like 20 minutes later, and I'm about passed out because she's really like lactic acid in my ears,
Right.
by this time. And I get up, face just plastered on the thing. And I look over the wall, my mom's got her hand over her mouth. She's got tears in her eyes. She's laughing so hard, just watching the show. And there's people like watching this woman just pound away.
You're like, that was great.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing in the middle of a mall hallway that I won't do is like a manicure or pedicure that I haven't done.
Oh, not in the middle of the mall.
No, I mean I won't do it anywhere. I don't know if they are located other
I
places.
thought that's what you meant.
Or if they're, yeah, no, I'll do it behind closed doors. Yeah. I gotta go in a secret room for my manicures.
Wait, you wouldn't even get a pedicure?
I don't know the difference, but no.
It's your feet.
Yeah, no. Nobody. I don't really like people touching my feet. I mean, they can. I'm sure. Like if they massaged your feet, that would probably feel good, especially if you've been like a long day on your feet. But
yeah.
I don't know. The calves don't sound, because my calves are hairy, and like that sounds like it would actually hurt. Like if they start twisting up all the hairs on my calf.
When you get a massage,
Your calves are hairy. It doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't at all. When you get a massage, they don't like rub your legs and like your feet and stuff.
Yeah, you have those
Not
calf
normally
beards,
my
right?
Yeah, I have calf beards.
feet. Not normally my feet.
Oh, you should ask. Just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got some. My feet hurt and calves seem pretty tight.
Nah, I don't know.
I don't think I could do it.
Can they get athlete's foot on their hand? From rubbing my feet?
You got athlete's foot? No. You want it?
I was
That's what he told me one time.
Johnny was borrowing my boots, my riding boots. And
He said it like, he's like, you don't have athlete's foot, do you? Like
I was making sure he
Yeah.
wasn't going to give it to me.
and I was like, no. He's like, oh. Oh, well, do you want it? It's like he forgot he has athlete's foot.
Oh, I didn't forget. Because I was probably wanting to scratch it right then. That's just like, ever since Memphis
I came up with a
locker room.
homemade athlete's foot cure when I was in
Nah, it
junior
doesn't work.
high. No, I'm serious.
It won't work on me.
A junior high gym class, I picked up athlete's foot.
Mm-hmm.
I scrubbed my feet with salt, and I put socks on them. I slept with salt all on my feet to kill the athlete's foot.
I
It
don't
just
believe
reminded
you.
me.
I don't believe you.
I just pee on my feet in the shower.
Hey, wait, why won't you get a massage?
I don't know. I don't want to have to, like,
Cry in front of somebody?
No, I don't like want to enjoy it and then think that I have to get them all the time.
I think you're thinking of chiropractic work,
Yeah, maybe that.
which is
but-
risky. But like a massage is just like. Has anybody ever like just rubbed your shoulders like a girl like that you're
I've
dating or
offered.
something? Or your mom? Yeah.
Your mom.
Oh, my mom.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And you didn't enjoy it?
Is that true?
No,
or
I
you just
did.
try to zing him with something there? I'm not sure.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah, your mom.
Well, it doesn't surprise me about my mom. My mom is outgoing, so I can see her stopping by your desk on her way after delivering
just,
caps.
you know.
Like, Donnie, you seem tense. Like,
Yeah.
anyways, you should try it. I'm not gonna.
I'm
buy
not
you one.
against it, but I'm not gonna go. Like I'm not gonna just go out of my way and be like,
It's
Want me
a
to
lot
schedule
of
you one?
professional
Do you want to
athletes
go
that
with
do
Dale
it.
tomorrow?
no.
No, I don't want him to go with me.
Do you want a couples
Couples
massage?
massage.
We don't need to ride in the same vehicle if that's the destination. Like, he can go on his own time.
That would be so sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna schedule you one, and you have to go.
Yeah, you schedule him one.
That
It's
is
at
something
my
we
house.
need to video. Donnie getting his first massage
No.
from a man.
No, that'd be
Oh, I'll
a weird
make sure
video.
it's like
yeah.
a girl.
Are you okay with it being a man?
I'd rather it not be
Yeah.
a man. I'm probably not gonna go if it's a dude. To be real honest.
Yeah,
You imagine
I
how stiff he'd be?
personally wouldn't either.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Strip down. What?
No, I'm fine.
No, I'm
Are you
good.
gonna really touch me right there?
Yeah.
When they say
Where's your other
derobe,
hand?
derobe to your comfort level, what would your comfort level be?
Yeah.
I don't. Depends on who's giving me the massage.
A young
Oh.
lady, female.
You can go naked.
An old lady, female.
Well, yeah, you wear a towel. You don't just like lay on
No,
your
yeah,
back, just
no.
butt naked.
Yeah.
Massage me. You put a towel around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to feel it out. Anyways,
Or-
tent on the beach, Alaska.
We found his discomfort level.
I'm not discomfort.
There's just nowhere to go left with that conversation.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of dead ends, is
Yeah.
what it is.
I'm not in discomfort.
He does need a massage.
Yeah.
You look tense.
I'm not tense. You're tense.
Speaking of tents, so I had this tent.
Yeah, and you were in Alaska.
No, that was it.
Did you make a bunch of money, and did you catch a bunch of fish?
Yeah, did you make as much money as that flyer told you you would?
So I could fast forward that season real quick. That year, the fishermen went on strike.
What?
Mm, lucky you.
So I was literally like playing cards to make money to eat on the shore.
Wait, so why didn't you like work?
I worked when I could.
But
When
if
would
they all went
make
on
fish,
strike,
there's no fish.
What do you mean there's no fish? There's plenty
there's
of
no
fish in the sea.
fishing, you
No
mean?
fishing.
Oh, so like they went on strike and you weren't enough replacement for them to still go.
So
The
yeah,
fish
you
went on
don't
strike?
you don't just walk onto a boat. That's not easy to do, especially if you're a greenhorn. That's what they politely called me.
Yeah.
They were being nice. So I worked when I could. I worked for the processing plant where they bring the fish in,
Hmm.
and so I camped. Me and a whole bunch of people camped on this hilltop next to that in Kenai, Alaska. I left
Homeless. Y'all were homeless.
Homer. We were homeless.
Don't try to church it up, Joe Dirt.
Yeah, and I had like this, you know, those little propane bottles with just the little thing you put on.
Kind of like exactly what I was describing for me.
Yeah, that's all I had.
That you're making
to
fun
cook
of?
on.
Yeah,
Oh.
but he was in Alaska.
No, that was my meals, my heat source. That was everything.
Hey, it's cold in the Panhandle in Texas in mid-May. Yes. Where'd you bathe?
So about every 4 days,
Man, I couldn't do that.
I would go plunk down. I think it was like $2 at the YMCA for a day pass to use the
Nice.
shower in the gym.
Always go to a gym. Yep.
See, I would get in the horse trough. My stuff is like sounding a little more rugged than yours. Like you went to a YMCA. Like I literally shampoo, conditioner in my hair in a horse trough, and it was cold.
Yeah, there was no horse trough. Not in Alaska.
There's an ocean.
Yeah,
But I imagine that's like
That's-
Yeah, but then
freezing.
you'll be salty.
that's cold.
That too.
So, there's a lot of stuff that happened that summer, but fast forward to the end because of the strike and everything, I barely made enough money to buy a plane ticket home.
Aww.
Dang. Well, you broke even. Free
Free
vacation.
vacation.
Yeah. So that was that. The next time I went on a boat, I had learned my lesson, but that was my first adventure. Yeah, I lived in a tent the whole summer on
Dang.
Kenai.
So how long were you there? Like 2 months?
About 6 weeks
Oh, okay.
that time.
So a little less than 2 months.
Gotcha.
That's what it sounds like.
But I was there for the
6 weeks.
solstice, which is
2 months would
That's
be
fun.
about 8 weeks. So. I think there's supposed to be a lunar eclipse tonight, or was that last night?
I think it
was
was
Last
last night.
night.
Nah, I missed it.
So that was my first trip.
Well, it's been a
Thank
great
you a little more.
podcast. Got to hear one of Cory Anderson's favorites, super interesting stories about being on the road, life on the road. Well, you're not living life on the road anymore because last year taught us that you don't have to.
No, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, so I want to say in 2019 that we did like 35 shows, and I do the bulk of them. Like my dad and I would split up for shows when they're on the same weekend, but that is a lot of time on the road to go cold turkey.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fun for me. As you know, I'm very social. I like to meet strangers, so I go to these shows, set up my booth, and I'm there for 3 or 4 days. You know the drill.
Oh yeah.
You all do. And I like meeting people, and stuff. So that was tough. I hated it. I mean, really, coming up here was like my only break.
Yep. Yeah, I hated it for a lot of people. I was just blessed that we were in Winnebago and we could go outside at least.
Right.
Well,
and then we all learned that how important our content was if we didn't understand that already. We were already doing that. We were already making content. That's what we do, and then we have products. And it worked for you and it worked for us because, there were a lot of people that weren't ready for it. Like, well, that's what we do. We make content. So we just churned out. I remember Ben and I, we knocked out like 30 videos in a couple months just from stuff that we hadn't gotten to.
yeah.
Thank goodness, but it didn't affect our sales and we kept the pipeline open as best we could. Our worst problem in the middle of the pandemic and even now is the supply chain because there's just not enough not enough workers. There's corn prices are through the roof, Milo's through the roof. I can't find enough truck drivers. My friends over at Prefert, they were devastated last year because they couldn't get people to weld.
Yeah.
You've got COVID, first of all, so that it shut down part of their operation. But when they came back, people were on unemployment and stuff, and they were making as much as they would make coming to work.
Yeah.
So they couldn't find people. And they still, there's a lot of us that still can't find people to come back to work.
Yeah.
So we did our best to keep working with the plant to keep our prices the same and try to get the feed out as much as we could. But man, we've never had demand like we have this last year, and I think people spent more time with their horses and realized they could treat them better.
Yeah.
Started taking better care of them because I know almost everything involved in our industry like that. Sales went up.
Yeah.
People just started taking care of their backyards because that was all they had.
I appreciated that we were able to get back to doing what we do, because every time we go on the road, like, for instance, junior high finals, I can't remember, one of them, that or high school, one of them's in Lincoln, Nebraska this year, and the other one's, I can't remember where.
Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, Des Moines, Iowa. So anyways, we would go somewhere like that. Well, you get the booth packed up on a Thursday, you leave out on Friday, you're there Saturday, Sunday, all the way to the next Saturday.
Right.
That next Sunday morning, you pack up the booth, you drive back Sunday, you get in late Monday morning, Monday's shot, Tuesday. So you're out of the game for like 14 days around this booth. And it's great that you get to interact with the kids at the rodeo and fans and all that. But now all of a sudden, like, we haven't put out a quality video in 2 weeks. And so there's a lag, and now all of a sudden 2 weeks later we've got nothing to put out. And that, at the core of what we do, is not only the foundation we're built on, but it's like what we enjoy doing the most.
Yep.
You know, so booths are fun, and we're going to still do them, but I'm going to kind of change the way we do it. We got enough people now in the system that I might just go for 2 days. You know, like I've got junior high and high school finals. I've got hotel rooms, me personally, for Tuesday night and Wednesday night. So I drive up on a Tuesday. I'm there that afternoon, all day Wednesday. Wednesday night I stay. Thursday morning I'm there a couple hours and I drive back. Mm-hmm. And then that way we can keep doing the things that make the wheels go round. I don't know about sales. Like, I don't know exactly what we did in 2020. I don't know if it was that much more or less. I know that we didn't suffer as much as most people in the world did. But I do know about videos, and we got to do more of those. And so I like that system.
Oh, and that's the thing. If there's anything that the demand went through the roof on, it was entertainment.
Yeah. And it was funny because, like,
anything
YouTube
to get your mind off of the
YouTube revenue, we were putting out more than we ever had, and quality content, but our YouTube revenue dipped during the height of that time because I think those ad dollars, which I never counted on YouTube anyway, so it was just an interesting, metric to look at. But the ad spend that all these companies, number one, a lot of companies stopped spending that money, but number two, there were a lot more views all over. So like these ad dollars were being spread out more, and these guys weren't having to spend as much money to. Anyhow, it was really interesting to see how it worked. Now, in the fall, 6 months after everything hit, we were still going full steam. So like the fall was our biggest months that we'd ever had on YouTube, which were still pretty minimal compared to other YouTubers, but nonetheless, it was just interesting to watch how that played out. And then we had that 2 months where we did that other thing that'll come out later that kind of made us lag in December, which a lot of people on the team got sick in December. Yeah, we had NFR. People went home for Christmas, so there was another lag in December and January in our content. But
when we were standing there on Commerce Avenue when you got the call, that you tested positive, and it was Tuesday. Yeah, and as far as Thursday. Yeah, we just finished setting up your booth.
It was a blessing that I found that out.
Everybody. So
I just randomly got to. I was like, well, I better make sure before I go shake 1,800 people's hands.
And I can tell the audience, the people around me know this. I volunteered last year to be a test subject for the Pfizer vaccine. Yeah. So I got vaccinated in August of last year. I was one of the guinea pigs. There were 20,000 of us. And we didn't know at that time whether or not I was really going to be immune, or any of us were. But I was there with you when you got that call, and I told you, I said, you need to just head straight home.
Yeah, for sure.
And Gabe, he tested positive, and like, you head home and monitor everybody that's working for you. Well, I was with so many people at the NFR because everybody was just dying to get out. Yeah. And our community. We are, we hug, we shake hands, we talk face to face, we drink together, we eat together. It's a tight community, the rodeo people. It's just part of our culture. Right. Everybody I was with got COVID. Like all the people I was with Resistol and Wrangler and RFD and everybody, it swept through everybody. I was wading waist deep in that and didn't get sick. And I got tested. I was getting tested all the time, being a test subject. But it was bad. NFR was, nobody wants to talk about it, but it swept through pretty bad. In fact, we were joking about it at the American. Like, this is the safest place to be. Everybody in this room has had COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. I don't know what to think about any of it. I just know that, I know the lessons I learned from it and the things, the perspective I gained from it. So I think everybody in the rodeo industry was, rodeo cowboys are pretty appreciative of rodeo.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like for the most part, there may be some young guys that are new to the game that sometimes maybe take it for granted.
Yep.
But for the most part, the majority of us that are out there doing what we do, everybody is we don't take what we do for granted. Like that moment at the beginning of each rodeo when we talk about, when they sing the national anthem and everybody prays, like that's a pretty important moment for any rodeo cowboy, because we all understand like how blessed we are to get to do what we do, and so we very much appreciate those who stand in the gap for our freedom, and because being a rodeo cowboy is one of the most free American things a guy can do. Like, you're going from town to town competing in a rodeo event for your income. You get to enter where you want. If you don't want to go, you don't have to. You get, and mind you, each one of these competitions are literally that town's party of the year.
Yeah.
And you might go to 3 parties of the year that weekend.
Right.
So everyone there is just welcoming you with these open arms. So there's this moment at the beginning of the rodeo where it's like, all right, we get to do what we do because we live in this country, and there's people that fight for that right for us to do that. And so anyways, the point is, we are reminded at every rodeo like how blessed we are to get to do that.
It's part of our culture.
So when that hit, like, yeah, we were all pretty sad, but it wasn't this moment where everybody was like, man, I've taken this. Now, there's a lot of people that may have not been smart with their money during times because they didn't see the end in sight. Mm-hmm. That's a real thing.
Yeah, I wish I would have bought more GameStop.
Yeah.
Or
I wish
GameStop.
Not sold it as soon.
Right. Yeah, I wished I wouldn't have spent so much money on this, RV to go in, when I probably could have budgeted this or that better, or whatever decision that might have been. There's some people that did that, but as far as taking the sport for granted, I don't think that was super prevalent. But
no, it's going to be interesting this year. I remember I was talking to Chris Woodruff of Group W. He puts on a lot of events, Vegas and stuff. This was a year ago. It was like almost exactly a year ago. It was in May, and we were talking about this. None of us were sure what was going to happen. The roping events, the summer rodeos, they were canceling. It's like he didn't know what was going to happen in the FR. And I looked at him and I said, look, this community is different. Rodeo people are different. We live together, we're going to die together. And that's how I put it. And that's the way, I know my experience last year, that's the way our community handled it. They stuck together.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck together. They kept competing. They kept each other going. They supported each other. It's just part of our lifestyle. It's going to be really interesting to get out the NFR this year, to go back to Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting. It'll be just, a thing to watch and see how everybody acts and reacts. So
I'm hoping this is, finally we're not going to be worried about it.
Yeah.
By then. It feels like forever away right now.
Yeah. No, there's people flying out there right now in preparation for it. There's people going back and forth for it. So
absolutely.
I don't know. I try not to talk about things that I know nothing about. So if I'm not talking about something, people are like,
you talk about bull riding.
That's because I'm the greatest of all time. Watch your mouth. This is my podcast. Yeah, when I stay away from current issues, it's not because I don't care. It's because
he's not smart enough.
I'm not the expert on this thing, and my opinion doesn't matter. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be as uplifting as I can, try to make you guys laugh. But I'm not saying I'm embarrassed to weigh in my opinion. When that time comes, I'll weigh in on it. Bold and loud, and stand up and say it. But I'm just not gonna talk about certain things that my opinion doesn't matter to you guys. I'm not gonna just fuel fires for either side of an issue for no reason.
Right.
So, anyhow.
Well, I'm excited about Vegas.
But that's why we don't talk about what we just talked about that often. A lot of different opinions, a lot of different things out there, but I'm just too uneducated to I'm not going to be a headline reader and go on an hour-long podcast to talk about
Here's the
things.
thing. Every at some point in this last year, everyone was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
I kept
Everybody
my
was
mouth
wrong at
shut
some
from the
point
beginning.
because there was no way to be. None of us had the game plan. We didn't
Right.
know where this was headed, what was going to happen. So at some point, whatever your opinion was, you were wrong.
Yeah, well, I wasn't wrong because I kept my mouth shut and I didn't have an opinion on it. Like, I was like,
I think this is the first time we've said anything about it. Like,
yeah,
I think
that's
it
it.
is.
Exactly, 100%.
Honey, have I just been...
And I don't, and that's even, this is the first time we talked about it on the podcast.
Yep.
We don't even talk about it off the podcast. You know what I mean? I didn't even, because
we haven't talked about it in months.
Yeah.
I just follow the rules and do what, so.
The rules in Winnipeg.
Because, there's a lot of people spoke up and then things happened and they were wrong.
What's that thing
I was
about the
definitely
tallest
wrong
nail?
at first. I was like, this is gonna blow over. This 3 weeks, like this is.
Yeah.
I was 100%.
And I wasn't even telling you were wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
no one knew.
I mean, none of us knew.
I was like,
but-
they're blowing it out of proportion.
I just know that I went to a lot of events, ropings and sortings and stuff, and people were getting COVID. They were managing it, and they were getting right back on their horses and going back to work.
I think there's extremes on both sides. There's people that act like it doesn't exist, and then there's people that use it to manipulate and try to control other
my
people.
God, yes.
And both sides are obvious. Like, anything you do, there will be extremes. If you're talking about, a rule in the PRCA that needs or doesn't need to be changed, then there's going to be extreme opinions even on that. We're all cowboys, but same thing with this. We're all Americans, but there's going to be extremes either direction. So I'm not going to be the expert on what the right. But like I said, if you put me on the spot and I need to make a stand for something, I will. I'm not scared to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I doubt you guys are coming to Dale Brisby for.
No.
No, you know what I mean. Like, I'm going to respect why
They're
you
coming
came
to you
here.
for bull riding advice.
People-
Yeah, you come to me for bull riding advice.
Right.
People want their lives back, and I'm excited about it. Like, we had, we were in Oklahoma for the Bob Feist Invitational. It's a week of roping, and people came out, and they came from all over, and they were excited. We were all just so excited to be together, and I've got the ranch sorting national finals. There'd be like 2,000 people at Will Rogers here in a couple weeks. I look forward to that. Just back to the regular stuff, doing stuff that we do as a community.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, I deal when I go day work at certain places, like last week, I'm around a bunch of guys that, those big ranches, they've got two kinds of cowboys usually that might be working. One of, you've got campers or like guys that are hired and they're there year round.
Right.
Like that's what my dad was. He was for a short time of his life. Like he was a camper. So like these ranches will be really, really big, and so they've got different parts of the ranch where they will put a cowboy. It's so far out there that not everybody can live at a headquarters, because some of them may have to drive 45 miles to do their daily tasks. Well, it makes more sense to put a house out there,
Right.
and then they're right in the middle of the cows they're responsible for. So they call those camps, those houses on different places, and then they call the guys that live at them campers. So these are full-time guys, and and some of if you watch Bud Force's documentary, The Cowboys, then it'll show you, some of the more remote places where their camps are. Some of them got to drive 2.5 hours on dirt roads to get to town, stay the night, get their groceries next morning, drive back. It's a 24-hour ordeal to get groceries. So, but the point is like, to be a camper, you've got to be someone that is very okay with not interacting with people.
Yeah.
Like, because and for those campers, like spring works and fall works, spring works being when you're branding, fall works or when you wean, those are like the highlight of their year because they get to be around their buddies.
Yep.
And the hardest job is being those guys' wives, and they're going to raise a kid out in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes they're going to have to homeschool them. If they do take them to school, it's going to be a 45-minute drive type deal sometimes. So there's that lifestyle, and then the other type of cowboy that may show up on spring works or fall works is a day work cowboy, and he doesn't have the luxury of getting paid by that ranch year round. It's just a day rate for the days he's there. But anyhow, growing up, I didn't fully understand the difference in the two, you know, and as I got older and started to understand it, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a day work cowboy, you know, because I just love interacting with people, you know, and so, like, there's guys that I think, you know, if you watch the Ranch album, it's a ranch in New Mexico. It's an old film, and there's not been one like it. You know, if you watch the Ranch album, it talks about, like, there's an old man talks about, like, if you got to be around people, this may not be the life for you.
Right.
But he's talking more about the camper type lifestyle. And anyhow, my rodeo and the day work side is like, I like going to rodeos. I like being behind the chutes. I like interacting with. That's what I love about rodeo.
Yep.
It's like you get there and it's like you're all part of a family doing the same thing, and you have this thing in common. So if you see a bull rider or a bronc rider that you've never met before, you can go over. It's really easy to strike up a conversation with that person, and it is not out of the realm of possibilities that 2 or 3 rodeos later, you guys are really close friends. By the end of the summer, he's in your favorites on your phone. You know, he's someone you're calling often, and that to me is, and that's why I like social media. You know, that's what I love about it. You know, it's like we've not only got the rodeo thing in common, but now we've got this behind the chutes feeling that we can have on the internet in a time where there may not be a rodeo.
Yep.
So anyhow, that is one thing that was challenging about last summer, but at the same time, you know, it gave us more time to execute on the things that got us here, which is
right. People
putting
are
out
grateful.
content.
I know people are grateful for you doing that.
Oh yeah, and that is
because it, like you were saying, you know, it keeps you connected. It was keeping you connected even when you're not there together.
Right.
You're not on the back shoots together.
Yes. And some people don't understand that, like, at the core of what we do, I mean, we made videos for 3 years without making a dime. 3 years, you know? Like, why would we do that? Why would somebody make videos for 3 years? It was just because we legitimately enjoyed making people laugh, period. Like, what would be the motivation when we had other jobs? No, we're going to do this thing this evening for 3 hours and edit this video, put it together, put it on the internet. You know, put it on Facebook, put it on, at the time, Instagram went around. But, like what would be the motivation behind that if we knew we weren't going to make a dime and we had zero intentions of ever making a dime, you know? And so that's what's challenging for people that are coming to the internet today.
Yeah.
They come, all right, I want to make money. Let's start
that's
an Instagram.
not step one.
That's their step one, you know? And it's like, I heard.
I need to get paid Friday.
I'm trying to remember
From
who
Instagram.
it was. It'll come to me. It might have been Joe Rogan, either Joe Rogan or Gary Vee. But, like, if you look at life through the lens of, no, it's Dave Chappelle. If you look at, on a Joe Rogan podcast, if you look at life success through the lens of money, you're going to miss the mark 100% of the time.
Well, I don't sell horse feed. I got 500 videos on my YouTube channel. Most of them are my dad giving away his knowledge. 50 years making, you know, feed as a nutritionist for free. That's what we do. We just throw it out there, and that's, you know, Dr. Harry. People want to see Dr. Harry. They want to learn from Dr. Harry. That's what we do.
The main reason I've started to look at numbers and started to look at revenue and why it needs to be at a certain mark moving forward is because of employees. For me, like before we had 10 or 12 employees, it did not matter. It was me and one other person,
right.
And I never looked at revenue, right. Because so long as we paid this light bill and had enough to replace the inventory we just sold, then, like, whatever, it didn't matter. But then now all of a sudden, you know, we've got 10, 12 employees, and so we've got to make payroll. So now it's like, okay, well, we have to make a certain amount. And that to me, I've looked at lately. And so when looking forward at the economy and how things may or may not still change or go back, thank the Lord we were able to survive, 2020. But
yeah, I'll never forget that phone call you made to me.
Yeah,
you were worried.
Well, and it's because of the employees.
That's what you said.
I don't want to have that conversation. Like, look,
you
I
called
love
me and
having
you're
you
like,
here.
I don't know if I can take care of everybody.
Yeah,
that's what
that was week 1. That was when it hit.
Yeah, that was like March of
and then
last year.
We all kind of realized, like, our industry was gonna survive, and everything. And
we didn't know.
We had, as a team, we had been frugal. We had, I don't own a jet ski. I don't plan to, so long as I have.
I wish you could have that conversation with me, because that sounds terrible. But if it would have came to that point, I don't know where you think I'm gonna go. But I ain't leaving.
Yeah. Well,
Donnie, I can't pay anymore.
Well.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Give me next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would sell. I would do some major things before I don't know. But anyway, moving forward, like, Lord willing, that's my goal. Like, I don't have like an income, like a revenue goal. I do not. It's so arbitrary.
Yeah, you're just stabbing in the dark. You're just gonna pick a number.
Why in the world would I set this big number? Assuming it would be big. If you set it, like, why would I set this number that I hope?
The mistake I think I see people make when you bring that up is, like, they have something they want to buy, so they're like, well, that's my number.
Or again,
which is alright.
Which I'm guilty of that.
Or that they look at that. That's how
they
think it would. They think they have to do that to be quote unquote successful. Going back to like what Dave Chappelle's like. Maybe it's not that they want to buy a boat, so they need to net $43 extra $1,000.
You did the air
They
quotes
just think,
because to them it's like, I want people to think I'm
right.
successful.
Mm-hmm.
Or they see another company do XYZ and they think, okay, well, they did this much revenue, so for me to be successful, I need to do at least this much revenue.
Right.
And I think that's what Dave Chappelle's talking about. When you look at it through the lens of money, that's when really in reality, like, am I successful? Are we successful as an organization? Absolutely we are.
Yep.
Because we, for the most part, to my knowledge, we all enjoy what we do every day.
Yep.
And we make enough money to support the people in the organization that do it.
Yep.
Period.
But
so we're a success.
You do that by focusing on your customers. You give
them,
man,
100%.
Content, you give them fresh stuff, you give them good service.
The day I did a social media speech thing Tuesday, and that was the first thing I said. The day I lose, it will be the day that I stop prioritizing the audience over myself, and that will be the day that I deserve to lose.
Oh, you told me that like 2 or 3 years ago.
100%.
So you're not just pulling that out of your.
And what I mean by that is like, and yeah, eventually. To keep the doors open, to buy these expensive cameras we're filming this podcast on, we have to sell a t-shirt. So, like, there's a point where I gotta say DaleBrisby.com.
Yeah, but I love this t-shirt.
Yeah. But,
can't buy this anymore.
There's a sales pitch. But if you follow me for 90 days, it's pretty easy to do the math that, like, I get messages every day, where can I get your apparel? This person does not know. Like, that is our main source of revenue. Mm-hmm. And this person follows me enough that they want a shirt, but apparently I've not said where to get it enough that they don't know where. Like, that is a very intriguing. If anyone were ever to ask me, where do I get your shirts? Like, just thinking about that. Okay, this person likes Dale Brisby enough that they want to wear his face, but Dale Brisby hasn't said his website enough that they know where to get it. Mm-hmm. The fact that those people exist, I think, shows like where our priorities are. Exactly. Like, I've got and especially, like, it's my name, DaleBrisby.com. So, or one of them, but it's like it's so simple. What? Like, one of what?
You said
whose names? One of I didn't say that.
Oh.
Anyway, It's
rewind.
But I think I've got respect for brands out there that are, because it's okay to say like, okay, I'm gonna start an apparel brand. Let's use that just because that's what we are. I'm gonna start a T-shirt or a cap brand, and I'm gonna use the internet to. That's fine. Like, this is a capitalistic. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, you want to start a for-profit company, then do it. You know, that's great. But it's gonna be a battle when you go to like, you know, I'm working with somebody. They were like, "Hey, I want you to come film at this photo shoot." Like, okay, what kind of content you want? You know, do interviews off to the side with them? No, I want some candid stuff, and I want it to go viral. And I bet you do. Yeah.
I'll bring
we all do
my viral camera video.
Okay, let me. That's a different camera. Let me just get this camera.
Yeah, this one's for viral video.
This one's for viral. Okay.
They didn't want to go viral?
They wanted to.
Oh, okay.
That was his.
wait.
We don't like the interviews.
That was his parameter.
That was like.
Can we do a viral video?
What do you want out of this?
Oh, wow.
We want viral videos. Okay, check.
God, I'll work on that.
We do interviews because the interviews you do with people are like to make sure you get content, you know, because you know, that's one way. Anyway, it's just the point is, I understand where they're coming from, and I know why you want that, you know, but you can't just, man, I want to sell a bunch of witchy digits, so I need to. If I want to sell you a horse, I gotta have your attention. You gotta be looking at me. The more attention I have, the more things I can sell.
Right.
Plain and simple. And so, people like, it's funny,
you don't get their attention by beating them over the head that you've got a horse
with the
to sell.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you got to give them a reason to want the horse, or witchy digit, or T-shirt, or whatever it is, or bag of feed. You know. And
how many panels did we sell in that Carl Lane video?
It's funny because I can see the things forming in a person's mind. Like, if you're around kids, like I was at a buddy's kid's birthday party the other day, and there's all these kids sitting around and they're playing on a bounce house, and there's a skid steer, a tractor, either a tractor or skid steer.
In the bounce house.
Yeah. No, but close to it. And it's like this kid comes over and asks his dad, it's like, he's staring at this skid steer, tractor, whatever it was, and you can see
bounce
the
house,
question coming a mile away. You know, 4-year-old asks his dad if he can drive and so by mid-sentence, the dad like, no, I'm sorry, you can't drive the tractor by yourself, go play on the bounce house, you know. Same exact thing happens with me. Well, with anybody in our industry, it's like you can see this person realizing like, oh, you've got all these followers and I have this thing to sell, and inevitably they always put their hands together like this, like, I need to make your followers mine, and we can come together like this, and we're starting, so you can give me a shout out. I got 2 text messages last night.
Oh my god.
One of them was at 9:30, and they were like, we need you to give us a shout out because we need more followers so we can get more people to our event.
For those of you that don't know, I'm laughing because this happens literally every minute that we're out in public. Somebody tries to get Dale to wear something, sell something, take a picture in front of their whatever.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
trying to sell this thing.
Yeah, well, like, we're having this benefit auction, like, hey, like, here's a flyer.
We need you to post this.
Yeah, post this flyer.
And it's a benefit,
Yeah.
so, which means like, okay, well, we don't want to pay you.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
and anyways, first off, number one, I'm 1,000% grateful that you are paying attention to my stuff enough that I'm on your radar to be part of whatever it is you're doing. Super grateful. But it's like, the reason why I don't want to do it is not because I don't like you or your event or doing benefits for kids. It has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that, like, I have worked my buns off every day to entertain a crowd of people. And I only have so many moments that I can say, will you also entertain buying this thing or come into this thing in the year? I've only got so many of those moments, because the moment you do that, you are going to lose some of that crowd's attention. The moment you try to sell them something, because people are smart.
Yep.
And so it's like, I've got to be very, very picky with what I sell to this crowd.
That's
because I value your attention.
I hate to put it this way, but it's almost like they're being disrespectful to your audience.
Yes, it's nothing personal to me, and I don't take it personal. Like
it's not.
And if I knew,
it's about your audience. They expect things from you.
They want my audience's attention. They don't. It's nothing personal towards Dale, you know.
Right.
If anything, it's a compliment to Dale.
Sure.
And I get that, and I take it that way. But it's just funny, like an adult will come up to me, just like that 4-year-old, and I can see the idea forming in their head, and they're like, "Oh, I've got this thing, and if you post on your little phone machine that you're gonna be there, 26,000 people will show up." It's funny when people use like your amount of followers. So.
If all of them give 50 cents.
Or half. Yeah. Like, this thing I'm selling is only $1, so let's say half of your followers buy it. Okay, it doesn't work like that.
Well, and I'm real busy right now, but you might want to run this by Ariana Grande.
Yeah. She's actually got more followers than me. Yeah. Talk to Sylvester Stallone.
You really want to do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm super grateful for anybody that messages me, and that's how I start off every response. But, you know, usually I can see it coming.
Yeah, there's a difference because there's some people that you know this. They're trying. They've got a good product. They're trying to find an audience and stuff. That's different from people that are just lazy.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I don't really want to market this, but you could for me.
And there's and believe me, like there's ways that I'll work with those brands. Like let's find an interesting way for us to work together where we can respect the audience, meaning entertain them.
Yes.
We'll respect them. And then we present your thing in a unique manner that doesn't piss them off.
Right.
Or make them disinterested.
Yeah.
So like,
you know, it's funny. You told me this like 3 years ago. You said this is the funniest thing about the internet. You make videos for the internet. You're like, people don't want you to waste their time.
Yeah, what they're doing on the internet is wasting time, technically. But they don't want you to waste their time.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. Like I don't like to unfollow some people because I feel like it'll hurt their feelings. But you can mute them when they pop up in your news feed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so like I found myself doing it. Like at night, right before I go to sleep, I might scroll through and the news feed and I'm like, oh gosh dang, this person's wasting my time, I'm gonna mute them, you know. Well, what am I doing? I'm literally wasting my time, but they're wasting I don't want them to waste my time. I'll do it, but I don't want you to.
Don't waste my time wasting time, because that's my time
to waste if I so choose. Yeah, it's very interesting. So like, but if you come across my news feed and I know like there's certain people that I know like I gotta see this. This is gonna be interesting.
I follow Katrin. She's inspiring.
So Katrin is teaching people.
She does all those exercises. I'm like, you know what? I feel like I almost worked out there. Thanks.
Hannah Barron.
It's like a little stronger.
Okay, this is a 115-pound cute girl that's pulling 64-pound catfish out of the water with her bare hands. That's pretty damn interesting. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to watch that.
What I like about her is she be doing it anyways.
100%. She's in the same boat as we are.
That's where I respect.
100%.
Yeah.
When you see the
genuine love for what she's she's very authentic.
Yes,
you know, and you bring up a really interesting point, Donnie, because people ask me, mostly because my association with you, you know, what can I do? I want to get on the internet, or they have a job, they're doing something. I'm like, turn your phone around and film yourself doing whatever it is you do. There is an audience for you.
Well,
then get to know them.
At the end of the day, just like what you said, like, you know, well, what she does is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For people to be interested, we have to be interesting. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Like, if you want people to watch your stuff, if you want them to be interested in your stuff, then be interesting.
But there's an audience for everybody who likes what they do.
Yeah.
And starts making videos out of it.
Now, there some of these things are more broad. For instance, Caitlin in fitness, there's a lot of fitness.
Yeah.
So what you've got to do is be the best at it. You know, if you want, you know, you've got to be good at it. You know, and Caitlin is good at it. And so like, if I wanted to just start a fitness page, me personally, it would not do well for a long time,
Well,
because
and that's it. There's a learning curve, and we've all been there. We started out making mediocre videos, and then we started making better videos. The quality got
Right,
better,
right.
and the content got better. We didn't start out of the chute going 100 miles an hour.
mm-hmm.
You just got to get through that.
Yeah,
When you got to put some sloppy content out just to see how it goes.
Yeah, you got to let the audience be the judge and jury, not
They
you.
will tell you.
Not you, because we've sat on videos for months thinking they weren't going to do well, and they blew up. And then other videos
But the audience will tell you.
we've spent weeks trying to put together, and we finally put it out there, and it wasn't good. So like, you got to let the audience be the judge and jury. But
I thought you knew how to make a viral video.
yeah, no
Whatever.
kidding, no kidding. But like I said, I'm not throwing rocks at somebody that wants that.
Right.
I respect the fact that, like, you're trying to sell your thing. Like, I get that, and it's going to be hard for you to then use the internet to market it. But you are gonna lose 100 times out of 100 if you go into it prioritizing yourself and making money over entertaining the people. And the moment that I do that, I'll lose, and I'll deserve to lose, and I'll be okay with it. Well, I'll be mad at myself, but I'm definitely not gonna be mad at the market, the audience. Like, it's not their fault that I got less interesting and they became less interested.
So my dad used to have a lot of like motivational speaker stuff laying around the house when I was growing up. It was really valuable for me, books and tapes and stuff. And there was this guy, he's like the granddaddy of all those people, Earl Nightingale. He used to do motivational speaking back in the 50s and 60s. And he had this very simple formula. He said the amount of money you make is tied to the value you provide for the community and the difficulty in replacing you.
Yep.
And I still feel that's dead on.
Yeah. Provide value and make yourself irreplaceable.
Yeah. Be that good at it.
And that's how you do anything. Like, it's not just you want to be a YouTuber. Like, you want job security. Provide value and make yourself irreplaceable.
Yeah.
That's the best way. And that, to be honest, like, the biggest challenge, or the biggest place that we see that here within our company is the interns, because they come in doing a very simple job, feed, fold, ship t-shirts. Mm-hmm. Anybody can do it. So, like, in your tenure here, you got to find a way to make yourself irreplaceable. Mm-hmm. So Donnie did. He's been here the longest. He, editing videos.
Right.
That's a pretty important thing for what we do. So he made himself irreplaceable. So
yep.
Caitlin, I recruited, so she came in and
shook the place up.
It's a very different way to get involved. Like, some people reach out to me and come to me through a different, but anyhow, the point is, no matter how you come into an organization or relationship, even, any relationship, mm-hmm. whether it's, a friend or a loved one.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I've done a lot of talking for the last 22 minutes. Donnie, this brings us to a point where, well, give us some life advice.
Can I go last? I always gotta go first.
Oh, really? I thought I could have even said what you were going to say.
What?
He thought you had one in the chamber.
Yeah.
But you want it,
that's why I was giving you a layup.
He wants his drop the mic moment at the end of the podcast.
Oh, no, I don't have to have that. Mine's going to be the same old deal.
What did you think mine was going to be?
Don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take
advice
from.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, but I was probably going to say, if you start listening to people in the stands, soon you'll end up in them.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take criticism from people that you wouldn't take advice from. There's haters on some of the YouTube. One or two that told Donnie he needed to get a different career because he bucked off these bad to the bone Stay Smith colts. He's been on like 40 horses, and
mm-hmm.
we went to Stay Smith rodeo school, or Stay Smith colt bucking. It wasn't a school. Like, they didn't bring horses with intentions of putting young riders on them to build the young riders' confidence. It's quite the opposite. We've got these
the horses' confidence.
We've got these young, super studded bloodline horses that we want to test out, and so we're going to recruit guys to get on them.
That's the truth. I mean, if
And
those of you who are
they were
listening
outstanding.
don't know, that is the thing contractors need to do. They need to build the confidence of their
Well,
animal.
and that's why they don't charge for the colt bucking. So Donnie, because they know like some of these are going to be really rank, and you may not get any value out
It's
of these.
free. What's
The
the
school,
downside?
when you pay $400 and $500 for a school, it's like, okay, well, help me match up a weaker horse to my ability.
Mhm.
So, anyways, he got on. He had ridden his last 5 horses like through the whistle prior to this, But then he got on 7 horses, and all of them were rank. And at the least rank one, he rode the longest, And so, anyhow, it's just part of bronc riding. And that's one of those, there's that Theodore Roosevelt quote about the man in the arena that Eddie Gallagher kind of hangs his hat on in a lot of athletes. But the point is like, there's not very many people that have rodeoed, number one, and a lot fewer that have ridden broncs.
Yeah.
And even far less fewer that have ridden 50 broncs.
Yeah.
So, like, you're sitting there talking to Bradley Harder and Tilden Hooper the next couple of days, and they're just like, yep, man, that's part of it. You're well on your way. Bradley Harder, Dean Wadsworth, Jacobs Crawley have all said, Jacobs calls you a bronc rider. They've all said, you're doing great, keep doing what you're doing. Those are guys that, like, do it for a living, that you respect your opinion.
Yeah.
And they're also guys that, on Jacobs for dang sure, if you didn't have what it took and you weren't doing the right thing, he would have kept his mouth shut. He wouldn't have even talked to you. He wouldn't have helped you at all. Because I've seen him interact with, because as a rodeo, you don't want to encourage somebody to do something that you think they're about to get severely hurt at.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak up and say, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to talk you out of it if
Yeah.
I say anything at all.
Right.
Those are the kind of guys you listen to, not, Steer Rider Pants 47 on YouTube. What advice you got, Caitlin?
A lot of small steps help you get to your bigger goal. So, like, take Donnie, for example. He got on the spur board yesterday for, 10 minutes. Like, a lot of small habits are going to help you get to that big goal. Don't try to, just I got this big goal, I'm going to do it, and it's so overwhelming. Those little small steps are going to pay off. So, like, he's eating better, he's, working out harder, more towards what his goal is. But all of those little steps are going to help him get to his bigger goal of being a bronc rider. And, that just goes for life in general.
Donnie, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite
That's
at a
it.
time. I think my life advice, I'll let you go last, Cory. See, I don't need the limelight at the end. I think my
No
life
pressure.
advice is same one I've been saying. A man has 2 lives, and his second one starts the moment he realizes he only has one. So,
Oof.
get busy
How do
living or
I
get busy
follow
dying.
that
Top
one?
that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'll remind everyone what I just said. Earl Nightingale said, the amount of money you make is tied to the value you create for your community, whatever community that is. Whether in these days it's your online community, your home community, whatever that is, the value you provide for them, you've got to put that first, and then be so good at it that it's hard to replace you. I'll just say it, another way. Those 2 things. That's where income really comes from. If you want to make money, focus on your audience and do good by them.
Yep, 100%. Thank you for listening, watching, whichever one you're doing. Rodeo Time Podcast. We're on to the next one. Text me, 940-353-0890, and let me know. Text me the word podcast. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you think that, which side of the aisle you're on. Are you going to hitchhike in Alaska, or are you going to get a massage on Friday at 4 o'clock? So let us know.
I'm hitting the road.
In the text message. And then with that, subscribe to that text message. I will then be alerting you when there are new podcasts out. So thank you. Have a great day. We're on to the next one.